Glad to be with you, and as you can see, I'm not in my friendly confines. One person was guessing I was in my deep underground FEMA bunker in Region 9. That was humorous. Thank you for that. No, we're out and about. To those of you nefarious people who like to visit my place unannounced pretending to be people you're not, we have security at the house. And more security than when I'm home. So, we're in an undisclosed location. If I turned the camera around, you'd figure it out really quickly. But, sorry, you're stuck looking at me for the next few minutes here as we talk about the fact that Tucker Carlson and I share a similar mindset about fake Republicans. In fact, it's getting really easy to tell the fake ones from the real ones because they're almost all fake. And it's interesting that Tucker would come out on Fox a day and a half after I came out and said, this is how you unelect these people, and to do it intelligently so we don't end up with more Bolsheviks going into Congress. Wow, this is such an unprecedented time we live in. I can only imagine what it was like to be serving in the White House in 1861 or even in the capital of the Confederacy. As the moment approached and the ultimate defiance and the split happened in your country, the anxiety had to be incredible. And when the founding fathers put their names on that document, they knew, hey, either we hang together or we will all hang separately. And that's what we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen. We're all going to hang together. We're all going to hang separately. And for right now, what I'm telling you is this ship is rudderless. There is no leadership in this country whatsoever, save a few like Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz? I eviscerated Ted in the primary of 2016, and for good reason. Now he's the closest thing to a patriot we've got. And we're going to talk about why that's true and why Tucker Carlson and I seem to be marching in lockstep about what's going on. And I'm going to go a step further than Tucker, because Fox won't let him say what I'm about to say. My name is Dave Hodges. I am the host of The Common Sense Show. We are the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. And we appreciate you while we're on this vacation, kind of more of a family reunion kind of deal. That you appreciate the fact that I'm not going to be my stellar, stunning self, and that sometimes I'll be coming right up from our activities during the day to sit down to do some broadcasts. But we never take a day off. We really don't. And some people have suggested that I should. I don't want to be the Rip Van Winkle that goes to sleep and wakes up in a different world. And like I said, I'm doing everything I can resist these changes. Some of the changes are good. If we come out of this controversy, and hopefully reasonable dialogue will continue for many of the groups that are protesting, and we have more clear procedures on lethal use of force by police, better training, and to let the police know. We don't want the police to operating in gray areas. They need to know right, wrong. And also, too, we have to factor in the human factor, because split-second decisions save and lose lives. But if we come out of that with a more fairer system, that's good. But unfortunately, most of what's coming out of today is destructive. It's not instructive, it's destructive to our way of life. And it's intentional. You are living through a semi-soft coup that will ramp up if it doesn't produce the desired results. We're brought to you by KetoWithHodges.com. Link is in the description box. I'm doing a form of keto, and as best I can while on vacation, but I think I'm now, about 17 pounds to the lighter. Still got a long way to go, and got to hope I don't have any more bouts where I have to have medication that'll make you balloon up like the Macy's Day Parade, Thanksgiving, right? But things are good, and this is also kind of a workout vacation for us here, and we're hitting the gym every day, and we do a lot when we go outside. We're doing a lot of activity stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping this continues, and I'm taking this product, ketowithhodges.com. I very much believe in the keto diet. I don't think it's something that you should necessarily be on permanently 5 years from now. Hopefully, I'll be in a normal kind of diet and won't need supplements, but you never know. You never know. You might have to. But anyway, this is a really good product. It increases your metabolism. It enhances the keto effects. And I would really recommend that you give it a shot. In fact, they have better professional opinions than mine if you click on the link in the description box. Okay, Tucker Carlson said there are no real Republicans left, and that they stand for nothing, and they're acquiescing while the Democrats allow their allies to riot, loot, commit all kinds of mayhem, including murder, not speaking out against it. Have you heard one Democrat speak out against the violence? I've heard them speak out against the Minneapolis Police Department, which, well, they should. See, I think the police chief should have lost his job too. He should have lost his job because he had a chance to discipline that officer a dozen times, and he didn't. And that officer ended up killing someone who was in custody. So police chief should have been gone. Defunding the police is the most asinine thing I've ever heard of. Ridiculous. You want to see what life is like? Look at what's coming out of Chaz when you don't have a police presence. Look at that. I want you to see the stories. The Seattle mayor, I mean, she's like the poster child for angry liberalism. Look at her face. She's in a perpetual state of being pissed off. And all she has done is Agenda 21, Agenda 30, combine the two. I mean, what did she do? Shut down 20 miles of streets in Seattle? It'll stop COVID from spreading. Oh, God. Yeah, let's put up the barrier. COVID not allowed. No, that's called getting people out of their cars, and that's Agenda 21 policy. She's just an angry, angry globalist, and she hates America, and it's really, really clear. And even she is saying, this is what came out of what was going on in Chaz. And she's admitting to the rapes, the sodomy, the disgusting stuff that went on, and a couple of murders in those 6 blocks. Boy, I want to be ruled by those people, don't you? Instead, I'd rather have 911, what's your emergency? Help, I'm in trouble. And they send brave police officers who risk their life to stand between you and the bad guys. But I will say this too, folks. There's a sense of reality here too. A lot of times the police get there just in time, through no fault of their own, to draw chalk around the body. That's it. And this is why you need to be prepped. You need to be prepared. And I'll tell you, if enough people in that Seattle zone, which is an anti-gun city, if they would have been armed, a lot of that violence would have stopped. Isn't it funny that in counties like in Georgia where they try to mandate gun ownership, your crime rates of breaking and entering are near zero? Not an accident, but I digress. Tucker Carlson is basically calling out Republicans for do nothing. I'm going to go a step further. This is the punchline right here. This is the important part. Tucker can't say what I'm about to say, but I know he knows it from what I've seen him say. The Republicans are acquiescing, and most of them are, because they have their hand on the chicken switch. They're scared little punks who would give money to a lunch bully. They'd let the guy on the beach kick sand in their 98-pound weakling body, and they would not fight back. And they're running for cover because they know when the Democrats win, and I should really say if they win, and if and when they win, there'll be a sense of normalcy for a while in the new government because you don't want a perpetual state of conflict. Once the normalcy is established, the crackdowns will come. And they'll come pretty quickly, but they'll come incrementally. They'll come like a thief in the night. You'll wake up one morning and this will be legislated against. They'll wake up the next morning, that'll be legislated against. And slowly you'll see, with greater rapidity than what we see with the COVID lockdown restrictions, your rights are going to be gone very, very quickly. And then the purges will start of the people who are dissident to the new society. The 3 a.m. visits that have been so typified in dictatorial regimes that are genocidal in the past. And the real purge will start. How long will it be? Well, if you follow history, 6 months to a year after coming into power. You have to have that period of normalcy to get as many people on your side as possible so they'll look the other way as their neighbors are being dragged out at 3 a.m. screaming. That's what I would say, 6 months to a year. And the Republicans are saying, okay, we fought the good fight. Let's just kind of step to the side, Governor Abbott. You big sissy, who I thought was a champion of the people. Yeah, you're being called out. There is a counter movement right now in Texas to replace him in 2 years, but I think 2 years will be too late. I don't think it'll matter. But they want the lieutenant governor in because he's more in line with traditional American views. I cannot quote my source on that, but I have imagined my source on that will be coming public with this fairly quickly. And I had already guessed this anyway. I didn't need to be told anything. This lieutenant governor has come out with very pro-independent stances on COVID, and they seem to contradict the governor of Texas. So there are a few who speak up. But I want to reemphasize what I said. See, this is what Tucker couldn't say to you. He knows. Listen, he knows what I know. I could tell by what he said. But he's limited if he wants to keep his job. And I understand, I respect his limitations, because if he goes off the air, he doesn't get to alert us to anything. But what we're also going to see here is a complete assassination of character that's going to take place between now and whenever the purge starts. And then you'll have periodic assassinations. This is from Celeste Salam, by the way. And I agree with her, because this is what history shows. And that'll be the lead up to the purge. And once they've kind of cleared the deck of the important obstacles, I think Rand Paul and Devin Nunes will be prime targets. I really do. I think most of the Republicans, you could fit them in a box and put them in the trash can. You'd never know the difference. You wouldn't even know they're gone. So here's what Tucker can't tell you. How do you affect a change? It's what I said yesterday and the day before. If you wait until the general election and vote out the incumbent, you're just inviting in more Bolsheviks into office. Okay, more Democrats who have become communists. On the other side, if you start your actions in the primary, usually your primary upstarts are more idealistic. They don't have the corporate funding and money. They're not owned as much by the incumbent. And so they're going to be capable of more independent thought. And some of them that I've talked to, and I've talked to a couple in Arizona, and some of them that I've talked to actually have the illusion that their belief in the system as it was written is enough to save the day. It's an illusion at this point. But those are the people you want to grab onto. You want to grab on to the lesser known. Yeah, do your due diligence, but I can almost guarantee you, what we have today is a completely compromised Republican Party. Completely. They're flipping on Trump on issues that don't even matter. Seriously. In the next broadcast, I'm going to be telling you how Trump can save his presidency. And I hope you're hearing me very clearly on this. He can. There's one thing he can do, and I've said this before, but we're now at the juncture where this is going to happen, as there has been a major development. Major. And I'm kind of like on the edge of the seat. Tell us. No, I'm going to tell you in the next broadcast, because this is unto itself. I want to say this publicly. I don't agree with everything Tucker says and does. But he's the closest thing that you have to an ally in the mainstream media. Hannity's okay. The rest of them kind of walk the fine line. They do. But Tucker tells it as much as he can like it is. And he is your best friend in the mainstream media right now. Anybody else? Ridiculous. I mean, did you see the piece on CNN where they had the man on with the gun, he and his wife defending their property? They refused to show the clips of the armed mob and play the audio that we're going to kill you, we're going to kill and eat your dog, we're going to burn your house down. When you show up on someone's property with guns and threaten them, do you understand you're entitled to use lethal force? Do you understand that? And these people didn't. They stood their ground, but they remained civilized, and they were able to back these people off, which I really credit the couple with extremely good judgment. I mean, the kind of judgment you'd expect from a professionally trained police officer. And yet they go on CNN, and Cuomo, it's surprising, right? Cuomo, he just eviscerates them and made up lie after lie after lie. The lying network, CNN. I saw an ad for the Epoch Times, and it came across one of my videos that I was going back and I was putting in some of the notes at the end, and it was particularly effective. I was so glad to see them do that. I'm going to correct them on one small point, but I'm a supporter of this organization. They said that the mainstream media, 90% of it's owned by 6 corporations. It's about 98%. But the principle is in play. Epoch Times does a good job. And I will tell you this, too. There are issues with that organization like there are with any organization. But you can pretty well take to the bank, well, maybe that's a bad analogy in today's world. You can pretty well take what they say at face value as the truth. They are very, very good at reporting, as is One American News Network, which I'm also a big fan of. So here I am on vacation, proceeding through, and this is why you'll see different backgrounds from time to time. Some of them are very uncomfortable. Like the one I'm in now, I feel like I'm in a little box, and I'm getting claustrophobic. It's almost like doing a presentation from the elevator. But I do appreciate you coming here. The news will continue, and there's a lot happening today, a lot that we're going to cover. So stay tuned. We'll see you throughout the day.